Yo, what is up, everybody? It's me, Weeb here, back with part 2 for What If Naruto Had Nen, which came out a month ago. I know. Sorry about that. But I had to go back and rewatch Hunter x Hunter because I watched Hunter x Hunter like in 2018, and then I forgot about it for a little bit, and then I had the idea to make this What If since I was looking back into the manga since the Dark Continent arc is going on right there. But it's time for a part 2. And we'll get into a recap before we get into the main juicy meat and potatoes of the story. If you guys have not already, as I say in every video, self-plug time, make sure to go hit the like button, comment down below what you think of my videos, and if you have any ideas on what I can do to make them even better, and subscribe to the channel. We are at 4.19k subs right now. Thank you guys so much. Thank each and every one of you for watching my videos. It's great, and we got some cool stuff coming in the future. I'm hopefully going to be finishing up these current what ifs soon. I'm going to be posting, my plan for the next few weeks is I'm going to be posting like only one series for a few, like until it's complete. So I'm going to be doing only What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Sage's Sixth Path, since you guys like that one. So we're going to do all of that one first and give that a shot and see how it goes. If you guys like that kind of recording what if style, I'll try and do that when I'm finishing What Ifs, but other than that, I'll do my daily, weekly schedule thing. Anyway, let's get into today's part for What If Naruto Had Nen. Last time in part 1, we saw as Naruto had tapped into Kurama's Nen, especially his Nen nature, as the chakra that Kurama would have originally given Naruto was actually converted to Nen in this time around, which Naruto was using aura throughout his body. Now, Haku had just been stabbed by the Raikiri as we get back into finishing off the Battle of Zabuza and returning to the Leaf Village. As Naruto looks forward, he sees the blood spilling out of Haku's chest, with the life leaving his eyes as the light enters away as Haku fades into the darkness. Kakashi would say nothing, as Zabuza looks down to see his partner as well as his student having sacrificed himself with his final motion to save Zabuza. As he falls, Zabuza would spit, saying he was such a failure as he looks away from Haku's body. Naruto would then say in a harsh and raspy tone, after using so much Nen power that he had summoned, You're wrong. He saved you." Kakashi would look over to Naruto, along with Sasuke and Sakura, who were both sitting over in a different corner, with now Naruto still thinking Sasuke was knocked out and dead. Sakura would turn over as she looks to see what is happening in the battle, as Zabuza would eventually come to realize what Naruto, this young boy from the Leaf Village, is saying is actually true. As he realizes this, Zabuza would go into a fit of rage after seeing Gato's goons. He would go rushing off into the crowd with his sword, executioner blade, with another kunai in his mouth, slashing and stabbing until all of Gato's men are killed. As Zabuza's sword slices down on Gato's neck, his head would roll across as he falls off the bridge, a mere puddle into the river below, never to be seen again. Zabuza's final actions would be him turning around to face Team 7 as they all are standing there, except for Sasuke, who's still down. As Naruto wobbles forward, almost falling back onto his face, Kakashi would hold a hand out telling Naruto to stay back. As Zabuza crawls forward, he then lays down next to Haku, his sword clattering to the stone ground beneath him. Haku wouldn't react in any way, as he merely stares off into the sky. As Zabuza lays down for the final time, feeling the stones beneath him, cold as ice, he would then remember back to the day where he had eventually and first found Haku, the young boy who had been abandoned by his family, alone with a unique Kekkei Genkai. "I'll teach you how to become a real fighter." This tall man would stare down at Haku, as Haku thinks to himself and wonders who this man is. He would then introduce himself and say that his name is Zabuza, and that he can see some real potential in him. Haku would smile as he lights up for the first time ever, realizing as this man hands him a piece of bread. Haku would then take his hand as Zabuza begins his training with Haku. Zabuza would cry as he recalls this memory, saying that he hopes that in the next life he'll be able to see him again, though deep within himself he knows he won't be able to see Haku for all the horrible things he had done. As he then phases out of his life slowly, his eyes begin to close as Kakashi holds his hands together, praying that Zabuza's soul makes it to the other world peacefully. At this point, the now trio and Sasuke would be laying on the ground after the hard battle. After having closed their eyes for several minutes and breathing heavily after their intense battle, Naruto would begin to sit up as he feels himself recovering. As he looks up, he sees droplets of snow falling from the sky as they begin to cover the land below in an actual blanket of it. The white, puffy solid begins to cover the entire land of waves as the storm clouds begin to clear out and a new winter begins. He would then look over to Kakashi, who would give him a thumbs up and tell him that they need to get everyone back to Tazuna's house. Tazuna, who would still be there by Sakura and Sasuke, would be a bit horrified about what had just occurred after seeing so much death. He would also be relieved now that his assassination attempt had failed. Tazuna would eventually continue construction on the bridge, and for the next few days, Naruto, Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke, who had recovered fairly well by this point, would watch it until it's become more completed. After no threats had occurred, Tazuna would send them off after paying them for what he had originally told the third Hokage he would. As he leaves, Tazuna would pat Naruto on the shoulder and say one thing. He named the bridge the Naruto Bridge, after the way that he had saved them like that before. Naruto would look up and thank him for that much, as he smiles with his whiskers going up on his face. Sasuke would look over at him and say he's still a loser, with Naruto growing a mark of anger on his forehead. As he turns around and tells Sasuke that next time he's gonna win for sure. Sasuke would laugh as he flicks him in the forehead, remembering what Itachi had done to him, before quickly stopping and putting his hand down. He would then say they should head back to the Leaf Village, as all 4 of the ninja from Team 7 leave the Land of Waves behind. A few days have passed now in the Leaf Village, as Naruto is staring up at his ceiling. As Naruto looks up at the ceiling, turns to the right, and hears a clock ticking, he then sits up after finishing up his bowl of ramen and screams, "I'm bored! There's nothing to do here inside. What am I supposed to do for this amount of time?" He finally gets up as he kicks his clock, turning it off, and walks out the front door, feeling the sunshine on his face. As Naruto now tightens his headband around his forehead, he would jump down to the village streets below, deciding to go walk around and see if he can stir up something interesting. As he goes walking around, he'd eventually run into Konohamaru, who would ask if he wants to hang out with him. Naruto would give him a thumbs up and say he for sure. As Naruto walks with Konohamaru, he would eventually come across a certain someone. Sakura would eventually meet up with Naruto and Konohamaru, as well as Sasuke would be tailing them from behind in the trees, wondering where they're going, as he's bored too. As Sasuke realizes who Naruto runs into, Naruto, who had been busy talking to Konohamaru, would see Konohamaru run into Kankuro. As Kankuro turns around, feeling livid that he would already have some trouble just by walking into the Leaf Village, Gaara would also come up from behind. As soon as Gaara comes up from behind, he feels a punch coming towards the back of his head. Naruto, who pretty much no one else can see right now, has an aura of Nen surrounding his entire body, like what, Killua and Gon do. As he feels the punch coming before it actually hits him, Naruto easily dodges out of the way, making it look as though his pure instincts had made him be able to dodge this attack, even though Gaara had actually used his sand to do it. Gaara, who'd still be standing there, would be impressed, but he wouldn't show any emotion as he finds this person to be threatening. He would then stare Naruto down, as Naruto would tell Kankuro to put Konohamaru down immediately. Gaara, who would watch as Kankuro denies it, saying he's not going to, Gaara would hold up his hand and tell him to do so. Konohamaru would fall as he hits the bottom of the sandy street. He would then be helped up by Sakura, who would pick up Konohamaru and pull him back. Just as this is taking place, Gaara's eyes would flick upwards as his blue irises meet into the tree. "And you? Who might you be, hiding in the shadows?" This is when Sasuke would make a sound as he falls down, standing into the street below, with Sakura and Naruto being surprised, having not really noticed. Naruto having not paid attention that much to anything that was not surrounding him. He would then greet Sasuke as if though he had known he was there the whole time, thinking that he had definitely pulled off that bluff. Sasuke knew that Naruto had no idea, but he was still surprised that this guy from the Sand Village knew. Gaara would ask the two, "What are your names? I find both of you to be intriguing on different points." Sasuke would stand up first, as he is then interrupted by Naruto. "My name's Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm gonna be the Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves someday," Naruto would say as he shifts his headband to make it straighter. This is when Sasuke sighs. "My name is Sasuke Uchiha." And then he would ask, "What's your name?" "My name is Gaara of the Sand, and I will be your enemy in the upcoming battle, and I will take victory from your blood." Gaara would turn on this word as he walks away, with both Sasuke and Naruto being confused with this final remark. Contest? They'd both be thinking, as Sakura would then say that she had no idea what he's talking about, and also wondering why there were sand ninja in the Leaf Village to begin with. They decide they need to meet up with Kakashi-sensei to figure this out, as they head towards the park where he had said he would be meeting up with them later that day. Conveniently, Kakashi had already been there, as he was reading his Make-Out Tactics book that Master Jiraiya had given him personally. Kakashi would look up as he feels his eye burn from the sun's rays. He quickly covers it before he sees his 3 students there. Konohamaru would have gone home to tell the third Hokage what happened as he whines about it. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would then confront Kakashi and ask what they had seen earlier that day. "Kakashi," Sakura would ask, while Naruto and Sasuke stand back, "we saw 3 sand ninja in the village today. Do you know why that is?" Kakashi would then sigh as he said he actually had been wanting to talk with them about this today. He would then say that there are some very special examinations coming up, the chunin exams, and if all of you agree to it, I believe you should all enter it. Naruto would be interested, but still has no idea what these examinations are. Kakashi-sensei, what are the chunin exams?" Kakashi would then ask if Naruto really doesn't even know that much. Sasuke would say, "Don't even bother Kakashi-sensei, let me explain to him." He would then look as Naruto was getting annoyed. Sasuke would then say that, in short, simple terms, as he looks at Naruto, the chunin exams are basically tests that you take in order to see if you're worthy of moving on to the next level of ninja, if you're strong enough to become one of the higher level of shinobi. Naruto would say he's ready for that and could probably take on all of them at once, with Sasuke saying that there's no way he could probably even take on one. Sasuke and Naruto would be headbutting each other back and forth, as Kakashi would just tell him to shut it. Sakura would then ask if he really thinks that they're ready for this. Kakashi would look up and says he thinks they are. Both Naruto and Sasuke would say that they're in for this examination and that they're ready to do anything. Sakura would inevitably decide that if her Sasuke was doing it, then she better do it too to prove that she can keep up with him. Sasuke would be excited when Kakashi says they all agree, then they'll be taking the chunin exam. Now, Kakashi would say that they have 3 days before the official examination starts, and the instructions will be given out to each of them. Kakashi would walk away, as Naruto would rush off to do some quick last-minute training, with Sasuke doing the same, while Sakura heads home to go back and sleep. As Naruto's in the forest, he would eventually hear shuriken being thrown from a long distance away. He sits down and holds his hands together, and it sits absolutely still as he summons his nen. Naruto would breathe in and out, as he could quickly summon his nen faster and faster around his entire body. In his calmness, Naruto would quickly begin to fill every single part of his body with aura, which is a copious amount of due to him being born an Uzumaki, which are naturally gifted more life energy, which usually translates to chakra. However, nen, as I've headcanoned in this timeline, is a condensed version of chakra that all the tailed beasts also have access to. Anyway, getting back to Naruto's training, as he fills all of his body parts with aura, he feels the senses and all of his nerves in each and every part of his body begin to tingle as he feels a moth fly by. He quickly moves his hand out and grabs the moth midair before releasing it as it flies away again. Naruto would still have his eyes closed as he puts more aura into all of his specific body parts, his eyes, his ears, his mouth, and specifically his feet. As he does this, all of those body parts begin to spread the aura into the earth, as Naruto would eventually be able to see through his eyelids pretty much, almost to have an X-ray amount of vision using Gyo. As Naruto's just about to do this, he suddenly hears a bird chirp and falls out of this state. He falls backwards, having gotten relaxed too much, as he looks up to see that the entire sky had become black, having it only felt like it had been 5 minutes when it was already around 2 a.m. in the morning. Naruto would quickly hurry as he decides to get back home, as he walks home and runs back inside before getting some ramen after realizing he was starving. As Naruto would then wake up the next day, he decides he's going to work on trying to see what that nen was that he used against Haku. As Naruto goes out this time today, he then walks over into the grass. He sits down. Naruto tries to go into that meditative state that he had been before, but it just doesn't work as he decides that it's too hard to focus on all that much at once, and he could only do it because it was so nice and cool outside. Today the sun was beating down on him and he was sweating like buckets. As he heads back to town, deciding he's going to get some Ichiraku ramen to relax, he would then quickly look to the right as he hears a shuriken. Naruto would jump into a tree quickly as he runs over to see what's going on. He would then see Sasuke perfecting his shuriken jutsu, with only 1 day left before the chunin exams. Naruto does decide he's had enough training before the chunin exams, and will take the last day off as a break. As Naruto goes to Ichiraku Ramen to enjoy this ramen, he would then sleep on all the way in the next day, and relax doing whatever he could in his free time, mostly reading manga, and hanging out in his room. Eventually, the last day would arrive, as he wakes up early in the morning, with putting his ninja headband on and surrounding his forehead before tying it. He would then put on his usual clothing as he rushes out of the house, jumping over his railing and landing to the street below. As he lands, he begins running, with his feet crunching over the gravel, as he eventually makes it to the tower that he was supposed to meet up with his team at. Sasuke makes it there first, with a few minutes later Sakura running out saying that she had to get ready. Sasuke and Naruto would now have their entire team as they walk into the tower, prepared to enter it and begin the chunin exams. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto Had Nen soon, make sure to hit the like button. The goal for the next part coming out within this week is 300 likes. So if you guys get 300 likes on this video, I will promise that I will make another part for this series this week. Even if it doesn't hit the like goal, I'll make another part, just not this week. Next few days, the plans are I'm probably going to be posting What If Naruto Was a Dragon Slayer, another part for What If Asuka Was in Fairy Tail. I'm really liking wearing that one. That's really fun and new and different, so I'm enjoying that. And also probably a What If Naruto Was Reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths part. But yeah, so that's the plan for this week. Thank you all for coming and watching this video. I will see all of you guys later. Bye.